Baleba to Manchester United is the kind of transfer saga built on real contact, competing narratives, and a tug of war over timing and price. There have been credible reporting of United sounding out this deal. Strong public denial from Brighton CEO, whispers of personal terms, and clear message. However, Brighton do not want to sell now, and it will only take Caicedo level money to move the needle at this point. Here is the full picture as we bring it to you from Pillah Sports. You're going to know after this video the start of where this came from to the end of where it might be going. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and get ready because this is definitely a transfer of this summer if it actually happens. So first things first, we are going to be starting with the timeline of what we are looking at. So initial contact and the stance of both Manchester United and Brighton. Report says that Manchester United made contact via intermediaries to explore a deal, but Brighton are not planning to sell this summer. Brighton CEO Paul Barber publicly pushed back. Manchester United have not been in touch with me. From that point of view is speculation. He added, "We will always try to make sure we sell our best players at the right time. Carlos is a fantastic talent. We hope we will be here. Carlos is a fantastic talent. We hope he will be here for many years to come," noting football's unpredictability. Because one thing about this situation is that they can say this today and tomorrow, once the money arrives, all of a sudden things change from "we hope he's here for many years to come" to "thank you for your service. You can go to Manchester United because we have gotten £100 million. That's football's unpredictability. You understand? And this basically would come from every single person who understands this when it comes to the football nature of things. That's basically what we see. Fabrizio Romano has already suggested that there has been direct contact with Baleba's camp and the personal terms wouldn't be an obstacle, but the club-to-club talks would be very difficult because Brighton want to keep him and won't make any departure easy. This is absolutely crystal clear to us. We have seen them do this with the likes of Moises Caicedo, Joao Pedro, Cucurella, Robert Sanchez. We have seen them do this time and time again. They do not sell until they get what they want. And if you want to get them to sell before they want to sell, you are going to pay a premium. And that's one thing that we have noticed about Brighton. But the truth about this situation is the things that we are hearing from Baleba's camp is giving Manchester United a lot of courage. It's giving us a lot of courage to understand that we can actually push for this. And that brings us to the players' terms and intentions that has basically been whispered in the corridors of, or the dark corridors of Brighton's rooms. One report claimed that Baleba has made his intentions clear and verbally asked Brighton to let him move to Manchester United, with his agents giving the thumbs up on the personal terms offer. This was framed alongside a steeped Brighton valuation. Now the situation, of course, this is coming from Indicalia X account. If you guys do not know, I haven't seen them in a very long time, but they were the ones that first broke the news about Manchester United being in for Carlos Baleba, and then you saw the likes of Dave Ornstein credit them for that news. And so with this particular one, we have to give them credit and we have to actually pay attention because they have definitely gotten some good news about this deal. Their sources have definitely given them some good news about this. Now we are going to be looking at United's pursuits over time and the competition that could arise if Manchester United don't get this deal done this summer. Manchester United have tracked Baleba since his Lille days and are in regular contact with his people. With top clubs like PSG and Liverpool also keen, the widespread feeling is that he might stay one more year on the South Coast unless a huge offer arrives. This is a situation that we need to absolutely clear up because Carlos Baleba is a talented player. He's arguably the best young talent in the midfield in the world of football as we speak right now. And one thing is for sure, a lot of big clubs like PSG, Liverpool are honestly understanding that they want to see Carlos Baleba do this one more season. Show them that he can keep his consistency the way he kept it last season for another year. And they will jump at this kid to get him into their clubs. One thing we saw is that Liverpool tried to get Moises Caicedo and got outbid by Chelsea. Now that's something that they haven't been able to fill. They went in for Zubimendi. Zubimendi chose to go to Arsenal. They are still going to be coming in for a defensive midfielder, and Carlos Baleba has everything it takes to be the Gravenberch, but also the person that they wanted to get in Moises Caicedo. And that is why it is going to be devastating if Manchester United let this go into next season. And for PSG, they won the Champions League without an out-and-out central defensive midfielder. They were using the likes of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and the young kid that was from Benfica. They used that trio to absolutely dominate Europe, but that trio is not very well balanced in terms of defensively. And so they can use the likes of Carlos Baleba in that team because he also brings the technical ability to keep up with the passing and the link-up play, but also has the strength and the combative nature to be that defensive unit for them. And so Manchester United need to get this done in this window. And this brings us to the context of United's window. The coverage around the links has sat alongside United's other business, including moves for Benjamin Šeško, who has definitely been done now, Brian Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, and the teenage left back in Diego Leon. This basically shows that Manchester United are willing to start building and are willing to get their money and put their money where their mouth is in order for us to look ahead to that Project 150. If you do not know what Project 150 is, it's basically Manchester United in 3 years' time are going to be 150 years and they want to win the title in that third year, at least. And the likes of Carlos Baleba coming into Manchester United would not only get us into making that dream a little bit closer, but it will push us a lot forward. He will propel us for us to use these 2 years in preparation for that year. That's what Carlos Baleba would do for Manchester United. And I can't wait to see it. I honestly cannot wait to see it. You understand? I honestly cannot wait to see it. One outlet framed that if Baleba did move, he would be the third Cameroonian at Manchester United with the likes of Brian Mbeumo and Andre Onana. Now, this is one situation about this. A lot of people are going to come out and start saying, oh my God, in January, they are going to be going to AFCON and we are going to be missing a goalkeeper, Brian Mbeumo and Carlos Baleba. Let me tell you something. This is one thing that we need to get together. It's either the world of football pauses football for us to all focus on AFCON, or we should stop complaining about that situation. Because this thing just creates a guilt trip. It creates a bad taste in football fans' mouth when these Africans and these African players want to go represent their country. And these fans of the clubs feel like they are choosing country over club. They are choosing country that doesn't pay their wages over a club that does pay their wages. And that, I feel, is a bad thing, especially when it comes to the coverage of AFCON. And it's something that the world of football needs to focus on. They need to figure it out. And they need to get this under control. So now let's focus on why Manchester United wants Baleba. First things first is the profile and the impacts that he can bring to Manchester United. A powerful athletic ball winner with range. That's the key word. Amorim said before the end of last season, he wants an athletic midfielder in that midfield in order for him to be able to get the football flowing from the back to the front. If we can merge Ugarte and Kobe Mainoo, that would have been perfect. But guess what? That is what we are getting in Carlos Baleba. Baleba fits the brief in a side needing legs and control in the midfield. One report even called him one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League, reinforcing why Manchester United want an elite player like Carlos Baleba. Under Ruben Amorim in the 3-4-2-1 system, he projects to be the engine of the double pivot, screening transition, pressing forward and feeding to the creators like Bruno Fernandes, Brano Buemo and Mateus Cunha. Baleba's ball winning balances that risk, and his athleticism raises the floor of United's off-ball game. That is definitely something that we absolutely need to do. I've always been beating this drum about Manchester United forward defending and backward defending from the front foot and the back foot. Those are the things that we have had a lot of problems with. And Carlos Baleba fixes the front foot defending immediately he comes in. Now, the back foot defending, he's still getting better at it by the idea of make sure that he creates a delay and not jumping too quickly, understanding where he needs to stand positionally in order for his team to retreat and come back into position. Those are things that he's still learning and things that he's going to figure out in the game as he grows. His form and value signals a lot for Manchester United. He made 40 appearances last season with 4 goals. By the way, those goals were bangers. He doesn't know how to score any simple tap-in. It's just mang from afar, from 20 yards out. That's what he knows how to do. And 2 assists. His estimated transfer value, of course, has jumped significantly over this year. But this signals the trajectory that we are seeing, and of course the demand that is about to come. Now, with Brighton's stance and the price, Paul Barber, who is the CEO of Brighton, he's consistent with this idea. Speculation. Manchester United haven't contacted him directly. Brighton sell at the right time, and they hope Baleba stays for years. While acknowledging football's dynamics, that's a real polite way to stand firm and saying he is not for sale now without closing the doors forever. That's the key thing with Brighton. They will tell you straight up, he is not for sale. Not now though, but maybe next year. We saw that with Moises Caicedo. Chelsea came in for Moises Caicedo. Liverpool came in for Moises Caicedo in January of last year. And is it last year or last 2 years? And Moises Caicedo, in fact, put out a thank you message for Brighton fans that he wants to leave. But Brighton did not let him leave in January. They told him, stay, figure it out. We are not letting you leave in January. And then in the summer, they got £115 million, which at that time was the British record. You understand? It was the British record. I believe they are going to try and do the same thing with Carlos Baleba. It is almost the same thing. The price talks. Multiple reports have framed this as Moises Caicedo range money to even test Brighton's revolt. You need to get to that point to even test the resolve of Brighton, with a number cited around £100 million in one piece. This, of course, is eye-watering. It is something that I don't think Manchester United have the money. It has been reported by African sources that Carlos Baleba will be breaking the world record for an African player in a transfer market, in a transfer from one club to another. And in that mindset, you know for that it definitely is going into the three-figure type of money. You get me? So now what happens next? And I'm going to give you guys three scenarios so you guys can actually see the situation. First things first, stand pat. Brighton hold him for another year. United monitor, and the market resets next summer when the leverage changes. That aligns with the 1 more year chatter and Barber's tone. So that is the first scenario. But with that scenario, the problem about that is that if he has anything close to what he showed last season, in this season, you will start seeing the likes of Real Madrid, Liverpool, PSG all come into the market, and Manchester United might lose the race in that situation. Now, the second scenario is only if a bomb drops. If a mega bid, Caicedo plus package in a smart add-ons kind of package comes and then forces the conversation to start happening. But even then, Brighton will absolutely prefer to control the timing and this situation, which basically ties into the Fabrizio Romano's very difficult to read and the reality check of what this window would be. Now, of course, the narrative that is best for this situation is it is absolutely going to be a chess game. United are testing the doors through intermediaries without playing their hand yet. And of course, they are using the player side for them to absolutely see if Moises Caicedo wants to join Manchester United. Of course, with that, you see Brighton smiling at the peephole, reminding everyone that he has decided to open the door. And in that particular idea, that's where I believe Manchester United can strike. We go through the player doesn't agitate in that sense, but tells them, hey, let's get this deal done. They have provided 85 to 95 plus 10 million in add-ons. Let's get the deal done. I want to move to Old Trafford. That is how we get the deal done. If not, I do not see a clear path to Manchester United getting this deal done without any hitches. Anyway, though, let me know what you guys think about this situation, because Manchester United are still in for Brighton target man, Brighton's best player, Brighton's starlet in Carlos Baleba. Let me know if you think Manchester United will be able to get this deal done, or will Brighton stand pat and keep Carlos Baleba for one more season in the Premier League. Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. I will see you in the next one. Peace.